Hello, hello. I have seen, I uploaded a video a few hours ago, and I see that it's severely shadow banned because I have three other little YouTube channels that I've started, and I did that just in case. Sometimes I want to upload a different type of content, and I don't want to mix in different type of topics in with the channel that has something else, right? Like, for instance, if I want to start a cooking channel, I don't want to mix that in with this channel right now, okay? Where I'm not even, like, that's not even the type of content or whatever else, any other type of topics. So I created those different channels for those reasons, in case, so the one channel won't be all over the place. But I say that to say, I go to these other channels to see if I'm getting alerts um, from the last upload that I did, because I subscribed to my channel on my other channels, and I went to see if I'm getting alerts. And I went to my other channels, and it's three other channels, and I saw that I haven't gotten any alerts on my last video. So I'm heavily shadow banned. Heavily shadow banned. And what I noticed with YouTube, and I've been noticing this for a long time, see, some people get shadow banned when they haven't uploaded videos for a while. They get shadow banned like that because the algorithm just kicks them out. I get shadow banned when I start uploading videos too much. I notice when I consistently start uploading videos 2 times a day, stuff like that, I notice that the algorithm wants to slow down and not show and not give me any alerts. Give any alerts. I get more shadow banned when I do that. That's what I notice. Okay, so it's the complete opposite for me. Okay, but I want to say this. But it's been like that for a long time. It's been like that since, like, before 2020. It's been like that a long time. The only reason I haven't really tried to do anything about it is because I'm not interested in taking this channel to be like humongous, right? I'm not interested in doing that, because this is a channel where I'm like really, really myself, and I say things that, had I had a larger platform, some of the things I say I would not want to say had I had that type of audience. Okay, so it's totally fine with me that it's shadow banned, because some of the things I feel more comfortable saying a lot of things that I have to say. Okay, and another thing, when I don't have a platform like that, nobody really cares. See, I can say anything, like this lady Henry and Monique, that channel. She talked about things going on with her husband. I made a couple of videos about that. This last one, for some reason, don't want to. It's posted, but it doesn't want to. It's not giving people alerts. So check my last video. It's titled "Giving Witchcraft Too Much Power." Witchcraft works when there is an opening that allows a particular entity, or what you call the devil or whatever, to enter. You know what I notice about a lot of Christians, and this is why I left that religion alone, is because they blame the devil on everything. They really feel like the devil is something outside of themselves. They are, and that's okay, because a lot of us are kind of still focused on 3D. That's what happens when you're busy every day and when you're working and you have responsibility. Even if you know that the 3D is just a projection, is a hologram, even though you know that, when you are busy doing things, it's not a reality that is fake, because you're busy. And it's a lot of energy given to a hologram. It's constantly feeding the hologram. But with that being said, I've realized some time ago, when it comes to witchcraft, when I realized what was going on with me, because I didn't realize a whole bunch of stuff was being done to me, but I kept seeing strange things. And when I realized what was happening, I started doing a lot of different work on myself. And guess what? The witchcraft started to fall off. So my point in saying is that I don't like to give that much power to witchcraft. It's annoying that folks keep doing it, but then you gotta. I've already realized that this isn't all an illusion anyway. Everything is an illusion. That's why I don't want to give too much power to that. The biggest witchcraft is paying bills. Okay, more than somebody casting some kind of death spell on you. The biggest witchcraft that I currently deal with every day is the fact that I am still having to pay bills. Like, that's a spell that needs to be broken. Because this is all, I know this is a hologram. But when you are busy in it, you continue to feed the hologram. And when you continue to feed the hologram from being busy and working, you feed it's going to still be real. That's what that's called fear. It's false evidence appearing real. So you continue to stay in fear when you have to keep giving attention to this hologram like this. To me, that's what's called fear, because it's false evidence appearing real. Okay? That's fear. And that's a spell. Okay, that is the biggest spell, more than any African or what any Freemason or whatever else, whoever want to throw spells. This right here, this hologram, and the fact that with the stuff that's going on in Iran and all of the rumors of wars, and that's the biggest spell right there, more than any other spell. That's the biggest spell. And people don't even understand that it's a spell. Some people do, but a lot of people don't. And what I don't care about this hologram is that even when you know it's all a bunch of baloney, people, the entities, because I'm going to call them entities, right? Entities. And by the way, we're entities too. So when I say entity, I don't mean anything evil. When you look at a contract, you sign a contract, you see this word called entity. The entity below, the entity mentioned below them, entity. See what I'm saying? And then that entity is talking about you. The entity is talking about you. So when I say this word entity, I don't mean anything negative about it, because this is all a hologram and we're like avatars inside of like a movie, a projection like a movie. So I don't mean that to sound like, something negative. But the entities that are running this world, or this United States of America, even though a lot of stuff is fake and it's a bunch of baloney, and you can even see the coding and what they're doing, it's like when if they decide to have a lockdown, if they decide to do something crazy, you can't do anything about it because they're in charge. It doesn't do any good to keep knowing that it's fake if it's nothing you can do to move these entities out the way. If these entities are not going to move out the way of this particular type of hologram, if they're not going to be removed, you can notice something is fake all you want to. You can even decode everything. But when they make rules in the area that you live, you have to do what they say. That's what I don't like about it. So it's best not to even live in that area. Like, it's not even good to project my consciousness in an area like that. That's nothing but full of lies, full of deception. And even when you know better, they're making a rule, so you have to do what they say anyway, even though you know it's BS. It's really best in this particular projection not even to live in an area, have my consciousness in an area like that, because you're going to have to, you're forced to constantly feed the hologram, because you have entities that run, or governmental figures that run that particular, that control that particular consciousness in that area, that you're almost being forced to participate in their garbage. Okay, so I don't want my consciousness to be in the area where fear is constantly pushed, because I don't want to be in a position where I always have to ignore something. And even when I ignore it, you better make sure they don't make laws. They create laws. So you ignore it. One thing, you can ignore it because it's not your problem. But then when they create laws, it becomes your problem. See, so I don't want my consciousness to be in an area like that anymore. I don't want that projection. I don't want to hold on to a hologram like that. This is not the real world. Now let me get to Henry and Monique, because I see my video was shadow banned. But if you guys can go back to look at it, it's called "Giving Witchcraft Too Much Power." there had to be there had to have been a door that was open. And I was talking about Henry, okay, because Monique is talking about how the devil is really attacking her husband and how he's had so much witchcraft put on him that he is no longer himself. And you know, and that, she, the whole 30 minutes, she did not put one iota of responsibility really on him. She just said it's because of all the witchcraft, because this is not him. Basically, she's saying it's like Invasion of the Body Snatchers. It's basically Invasion of the Body Snatchers. If you ever heard that movie called Invasion of the Body Snatchers, this is how she seems to be describing what's going on with Henry, right? It's like an invasion of the body snatchers, but she's calling it witchcraft, and she's saying that the real him was removed and they put a spirit in him. They did witchcraft to put a spirit in him, and now he's acting like this. Okay, they've been married for 14 years. He's been doing this over the last year, but I think he's been having these feelings over the last few years. But I was listening to somebody's content, and they brought up an excellent point. If they were married for 14 years, why didn't they do all this witchcraft the first year they were together? And they probably did, because she said that her child was taken out of her womb. Her child was taken away from her when she thought that she was pregnant or something like that. She took some pregnancy tests and they looked faint. And she said she thought that she was having a baby, but she said a demon came and choked her while she was asleep. She couldn't see it, but she felt it. And she said it took the baby out of her womb. That could very well be possible. I don't want to minimize Africans' witchcraft. Africans have some different kind of witchcraft. I don't want to minimize Haiti's witchcraft, because they got people turning into cats and dogs and turning back into humans. People think they playing with a dog, and the dog actually end up being a person. Some people do a spell on somebody in Haiti, turn that person into a dog, and hold them captive in their garage. They do, like, it's some crazy stuff. But with all that being said, here's what I got to say, because this is what I learned. She does not, either she don't have that much faith in the Most High like she says she does, or her husband never had that type of relationship with Christ. Or, that's their belief system, right? That's their belief system. Her husband, it has to either be she don't have faith in God the way that she says she does, or her husband is not who she thought he was. Because I'm going to say this. When you are that close to the Most High, when you are focused on the Most High, and the Most High is your world, and you read scripture all day long, especially if you read it with the intent on actually living a Christ-like life, right? When you read the scripture based on really with the intention on being more Christ-like, not just reading it so you can use it to deceive other people. You have pastors that know the Bible back and forth, but they use it in a way to deceive others, to manipulate other people. So that's what I'm saying. If you read it with an intention for yourself to be more Christ-like, okay. So either she don't have faith in God like she says she does, or this man is not who she thought. Because this is what I say about some Christians. You should not tell people that they need to turn their life to Christ, because she does that a lot. I get annoyed, but then again, I don't worry about that, because I know I make videos too, and I probably annoy people with some of the things I say. So I get over it. Like if somebody says something that might be annoying to me, I get over it, because I know I talk too, and I might say things that's annoying. But she does that a lot. She really always talks about how somebody needs to give their life to Christ. She does that. She says it just about on every video about how somebody needs to give their life to Christ. And my thing is this: you don't have that type of faith in the Most High. The reason why is because you had to have known it. You have to know that for this thing to take over your husband, because you saying that he's possessed by a spirit, if it is taking over him like that, and she has put way more faith in witchcraft than she has put on the Most High. Okay? So for this type of witchcraft to really work on her husband the way it did, he did not have the relationship with Christ the way she thought he did. Because why didn't this stuff work against her? People try to do witchcraft on her too. It might work like little things happen to her, like she might get sick or something. But it has not, nothing has possessed her to the point where she just turned into a complete zombie. It hasn't done that. So what I'm saying is, either you really think that witchcraft is more powerful than the Christ that you telling people to give their life to. You're telling people to give their life to a Christ that could not protect your husband. So it has to be that he did not have the relationship with the Most High that you thought that he had. Okay? Because if he was, draw nigh to me, I draw nigh to you. If he was that close with the Most High, this stuff wouldn't have worked. Like, it would not have worked that well. Okay? Like, you don't want to minimize. I get the African witchcraft is a whole different ball game, but she's putting way more faith in African witchcraft than she is in the Most High. She's putting way more faith in African witchcraft than she is in the Most High. And I get that she's focused on it because African witchcraft is a whole different ball game than the United States of America. It's a whole different ball game. I get why she is so she emphasizes so much, but at the same time, you on your platform, you're telling people to give their life to Christ. Why would they give their life to Christ? He is not more powerful, or he according to how Christians believe. Okay, he according to how Christians believe, because I'm talking about her belief system, right? Because I don't have anything to say about what people should believe in. I don't care, right? My point in saying is that you should not tell anybody to give their life to a Christ that could not help your husband, because according to you, he was this upstanding great guy that loved the Lord, that loved you, and then somebody was able to use some African witchcraft and completely take him out his body and put a spirit in him. That means Jesus is weak, and nobody should give their life to him, because the African witchcraft is so much stronger than Jesus. According to how she is giving the African witchcraft so much power, okay? I'm not saying that. I'm saying that is how she sounds when she gives this witchcraft all that power. Basically, stop telling people to give their life to Christ. What would they do that when Christ don't have the power against African witchcraft? You want to team up with something that have more power to go up against things like that. Not something that what you give your life to Christ for what? When you're not protected. But let me tell you something. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that's how she sounded. That's how she sounded. I'm not the one saying that. I'm saying that's how she sounded. Okay? Because I pretty much know, and I've known from watching other people that have been under attack, even Christians that have been under spiritual attack. When they really get in their word, when they really start fasting, when they really start getting a closer relationship with the Most High, that spiritual warfare is not so successful against them. So I know that already from some Christians that really are about that life, that witchcraft don't work against them like that. Not even, I've seen Africans tell that story. When they are really about that life, fasting and praying and being close with the Most High, yeah, the African, it might be a mother sucker, but the reason why that witchcraft is so hard, because people, even though they can call themselves Christians, they are still somewhere in their ego. And if you are in your ego, you don't have a complete relationship with Christ. You are not one with Christ because you're still in your ego. So you can't be one with Christ and be in your ego at the same time. That means that's room for the devil to play around. What they call the devil, that's room for the devil to play around, okay? And that's why a lot of them still, even though they're Christians, they have it hard. And because it's still, even though they pray and they fast sometimes to do all of this stuff, there's still a lot of ego there. And there's still room for witchcraft to affect them. Okay? But I just feel like saying that really quickly. I'm about to go inside because this place is about to close, and I will talk later.